Okay, good morning, traders. Welcome to the London session. To YouTube viewers who are going to be joining now, I see traders starting to join. Good morning to you. Let's get everyone in and then we'll start. We'll wait for a couple of minutes for everybody to be in the group and those who are joining YouTube to join, and then we'll start. Good morning. Okay, so we're going to start with the trade. Let me change our message to open to the entire team. So yes, you guys can change it on your side so the message comes to the group, not to me directly. Good morning. We get traders joining already. So let's go. We will go in a minute. Okay, let's start. So I'm going to start from the, I'm going to do all the majors. Then we will look at trades we are in. We're in one trade only so far. That's the pound buy. We'll show you the setup, why we took the trade, where it's going, and what we're going to do. So let's start. Dollar index. Dollar index still consolidating. It's coming downwards, but more now. If yesterday we were waiting for this to come here, make a flag, and then we will sell it. It came, but it didn't make a flag. It actually pulled back. And when they pull back this deep, you start to think that, okay, instead of a flag, it's making a consolidation, but downwards. That would be a buy setup eventually. But we really don't have a trade in it. So consolidation takes a while. So this one could stay here until the end of the week. Any trade we get would be very short term. And if we get in, we'll have to get out really fast. So it's pulling back, but I think there's a possibility we're going to get a flat here at some point. They could even go a little lower, make a flat. And if it makes a flat here, we would go for this trade because it's going to be one more impulse down at least, right? So here's a good example. You don't have to go very far. You got to move down. You see this one came down like this. I think we took one of these trades. We got break even. It pulled back, and then this trade becomes a really good trade, right? So the same thing I expect to happen here. Could be a running flat, could be a regular flat. We'll see what it is. But it's going to go back up, come down, and then we look for the sell setup. Because it's so high in the bigger structure, sometimes the sell actually goes much better than you expected, right? Can you pick it? Okay, we'll come to that. Once we finish the majors, we'll go to all the other. Keep the questions you have to the end. Let's finish the majors first because we will still have to do this first, right? So let's go. Silver. Silver, actually, yesterday we were looking to sell it in the news because we thought that this is more of a consolidation than an impulse up. It's coming down. You're getting a small flat here, which means that at some point this is going to come a little. But from my experience, when that happens, you're making a bigger flat, right? Even if it breaks this low, there is no risk to reward in this trade. It's going to come here and go back up. Once it goes back up, if we get a buy setup, we'll take it. If not, we let it go back up and then we look for the sell. Because it's making a flat, right? What you're going to end up with is a consolidation in here for downside. So probably a bigger one because this might take a while. This might go back up there. It could stay here much longer, or it could just make 1, 2, 3 and drop. So either way, once it comes back to the top here, we're looking for a sell setup. 1 second, guys. Let me just get that out of the way. Just get that out of the way. Sorry about that. Yeah. Let's go. Gold. Same thing. We got to move up. Actually, if you took the gold trade, I hope you closed it before the news. It did go up a little more, but then it came back down. We were thinking about buying it during the news. It didn't tag us because we were away. It moved up before the news. And because of the way we trade, it didn't tag us. It actually came down during the news. So what we're looking for is, this morning we were thinking of how we're going to trade this piece, and we're probably looking for a buy setup here once it breaks the top. I don't think we're tagged in that trade. It's here, and it's making a flat here. So we'll take that off. And I would go with this making a bigger correction too. There is a sell setup here, but not the sell that I think is going to drop through the bottom. Because when you consolidate in this range and you're in this move up, there's a likelihood you're just going to break that low and then go back up. This would give us a pattern that we can sell. Selling it here is just asking for a small drop and up again. Now, can it drop deeper? Maybe, but that's a maybe. And my strategy is not based on maybe. My strategy is based on, okay, we have a very good high probability trade here. This is not a high probability trade, although I see the downside, right? We saw this one as well. We didn't trade that one. So we're not going to be trading this one. Maybe if it comes back to the top, if it comes back to this level, then we will probably go with this trade to come back to the low here and then see upside. So right now, if it drops, it's just going to drop, break the low, go back up. We might look at a possible buy in that and then the downside. Let me make it a little cleaner. So I expect this to come here, go back up. When it gets back to that top, we get a flat, we'll sell, that's for sure. If we get a good setup on this, we'll take that trade. So if there is no setup, we'll not take it. We're not selling this here. I don't trade that lower time frame to go into this sell, right? Because this would not go very far. Euro is pretty flat, so we'll just stay out of it. It is really flat, and they do have a few sharp, one sharp move down, one sharp move up. You're doing this, I expect sharp move down, sharp move up, and then we'll get a flat to sell. So only when it comes back to this stop, we'll look for a sell setup at the euro. Although it's going sideways here. Pound, we are in the pound trade already. We took it. Some of my traders who took it might have closed it already because in the 15 minutes, this didn't go very far. We expect this move to pull back because we have it as a contracting flat. But all contracting flats can become running flats. So there's a good chance it could come back here and then go. Now, if you're not in the trade, this would be your chance to put an entry order above this stop. If this is going to drop, you're not going to be in the trade. But if this, for whatever reason, goes back up, you can be in the trade. So it's the same trade, except now you're out of the risk. My job, I'm in the trade. So my job is watch it when it comes back to this level here. And if it goes back up, I stay with the trade. If it stays anywhere sideways, we close the trade. If this comes back here sideways, we close the trade. If it goes up, that's the trade. If it goes down, well, the risk is you have your stop loss here. Right? That's the risk of the trade. Aussie, it's coming up back, just like I expect the others, gold, silver, to come back to this stop. Here's the question. Should we buy this? Do we know how high it is going to go? If it was at the top here, we'll buy it. Because it's here within a pullback that comes all the way to the bottom, I don't like that buy because the most we were expecting this to do is to go, sorry, let me just get back that drawing tool. Yeah. The most I'm expecting this to go is to go tag the top here and then drop. So once this top is broken, if we get any sell set up, we will take the trade. We're going to treat this as a flat for downside, most likely in a 1 hour, right? A 1 hour flat. We had flats like that. Here is a good one. That's a sell setup. We can go back and find a few more. Here is a good one. That's a sell setup. So if we get a sell setup here, we'll go with it. We're looking for a sell. I wanted to go break this top first, and then we're going for a sell. So we're looking for a sell setup here. New Zealand, same thing. This is not going to go up anymore because it pulled back pretty deep. And when they pull back pretty deep, if you were in this trade, you should have closed it before the news. If you took it after the news, well, you better close it now for break even. And that's the advantage of you getting break even in this analysis. Get out of the trade now that we know what it can do. I think this should go break the top, and then we'll be looking for the sell setup. Now, in rare cases, let me just say, in very rare cases, these deep pullback, these very deep pullbacks still sometimes go pretty high. But since that is rare, the way we would trade this is let it go above the top and make any consolidation. Then I would be confirming another impulse up, which means this one could literally go higher. And that is the trade we'll be looking for. Because as of this moment, you don't know whether it's just going to break the top and turn. And 90% of the time, that's what they do, right? They just like this one. See, it just broke the low, go back up. This one came down to the bottom. We know this was going to go back up. You can go and look at all the patterns, right? You would see that pretty much in these down moves, right? It was the same thing. That is why this was a sell here, because we know it's going to come and break this low, which it went much lower. I still expect this to go back and make this one. So we had a deep pullback here. Remember this one? We had this deep pullback here, and that still go up. So the trade would have been from here if you take it. So what we do is if this go up here, make a flag, we'll take that flag for one more impulse up. This is going to be a running flat, and then we're expecting this to drop. So right now, I don't like the buy symbol because I'm not sure the running flat is ready to start. Yen, we actually closed this. I actually moved my stop in the profit. It closed in the profit when it pulled back during the news. And I think we're making a bigger flat here. This is probably going to go back to this level, give us a big flat, come down back here, and then we will be in a buy setup one more to the upside. Right? So the question is, can we take this trade and can we take this trade? Oh, okay. Vic just told me there's one of those troll came back. Well, I think I know who it is. There was one guy this morning on Skype threatening me that he's going to be my worst troll. I didn't want to talk about it, but now that he's in the group, I'll show you some of the messages of why he's so angry. We'll do it after. Let's not let him disturb what we do. Right? So just block him. If you can remove him from the group, just remove him. We don't have the time. He'll come back. He's a nuisance. He'll come back. He has nothing else to do. But don't let him disturb what we do. Right? So let's go. We're looking for a buy setup here. You can buy this now. Remember, we said every buy you take above this top is a buy, but you have to get out really quick. So if you took this one, you got out here. If you're going to take this one, once it breaks the top, you have to be careful because the bigger picture is downside, right? We know that this eventually can come down back. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes these waves go all above the top here. I think the yen is a good example of that. They go all above the top here, and then we get that pullback much later for the running flat. As a matter of fact, on the daily, that yen went really, really, really high before we got the pullback. So if you're buying this flag at the top there, you can take the trade. It's not a bad trade. You just have to be careful. We do have some divergence internally, which means you're starting to go down, and you can watch it. Let's see if we get the buy. You can put the entry order above the top, and if it goes up, we'll take the trade, we'll manage it. We'll show you how to manage it. Swiss, well, it's making a running flat, so this might be a sell setup. Let it come back to the top here, make a running flat. We're going to look for one more down, and then it will become a buy setup. But we will see if this sell setup is valid. We'll probably take that trade. Right? If we get it, we'll take that trade to the downside. Aussie yen, it's going sideways. I think they're going to go back up to this one because this wave was really sharp. So let's take this out. There's a good chance that this might go much higher. But now because we broke the low, there's a high probability it just comes to this level, make a running flat, and give us one more low. If it gives one more low, we might be breaking out of this bigger structures. Structurally, it doesn't change anything, right? Structurally, if this comes here and drop, it doesn't really change the bigger structure. We will still trade this, right? We'll take the trade, but just for one move down. Structurally, this structure changes when we break this low. So until that low is broken, this pullback here could still happen and you could still go back up, right? Because we're still looking at this as a possible correction for upside. So one more move down on this doesn't really change anything. Swiss yen, we're consolidating at the top, which is good. I actually like the fact that they're consolidating at the top, because if we're going to break out of this structure, if we're going to break out of this to totally go back up, then that consolidation would confirm that this is all the correction we're going. Right? So we come back here in the 4-hour. It's going sideways. We'll see how this goes. This is consolidating here now. It didn't give us the drop we want. So most likely that consolidation finishes here. We will probably go back up, retest the top, and then we still have this problem, which means it is going to come back here before it goes. Because this is not the impulse to the upside. And this 1, 2, 3 will be more of a flat in the middle of this. So there's a good chance that we will take the buy. Once it breaks the stop, we're going to close it. We're going to look for a sell setup and then look for the buy setup. CAD-yen. I think yesterday, just before this happened, I explained the possibility that once it dropped here and we were in the sell and it goes back up, then there's a possibility that you're doing two things. You're either making a bigger correction here, or you're actually doing this. Now, I think this is a bigger correction. And I don't think it's this one. I think it's just a bigger correction. The only question we have is whether we can put all of this into a single correction, right? Is that one big correction, that whole thing? Which means we will have to go look at each piece of that pattern to decide whether it is one pattern. For now, you can leave it as separate patterns. It doesn't matter because the fractal nature of the market is such that smaller patterns can fit into each other to get a bigger pattern, right? In a big pattern, you're going to find numerous small patterns, very similar. So we're at the bottom here now. And from this point, you can see that we're not going to get that impulsive move to the downside we're looking for, right? It didn't drop the way we thought this would drop, right? That flat there that we had, this flat here that we had didn't drop like this, right? That is a drop you want to see when you're looking for it, right? Instead of dropping like that or like this, it actually went back, right? It broke the low and went back. So now, from this point, I think we can go back, but I think we might be doing this one. We go back for this one, and then if it comes back here, perfect, you've got yourself a flat for upside. See? So from this breaking the top, where we thought it could drop through the bottom, and if you didn't think that, then you don't understand how wave works. You should always assume that if you break that top, this could drop through until you get this pattern, and then you said, well, okay, great, at least one more up. Come break the top again, and then we look for the sell, because this is still corrective. It wouldn't change the corrective nature of this structure. It will just make it a bigger structure, right? And then we'll go. So now we would look for a buy setup today. We don't have anything for the buy setup as yet. We did break the low, but that by itself doesn't mean anything. We have to go back up, make a flag, and then we'll look for that trade to the upside. So now any buy setup we get, we'll take. If we're going to look for a sell setup here, I'd rather look at something else, not this one. Especially with the yen we have, I think the Swiss yen has a better possibility. Maybe the Aussie yen has a better sell setup. We're going to look at that. Euro yen came down very nice, so we can make a full forecast of what this pattern would look like, because this is the most corrective part. We call that the core correction. That's the core of the entire bigger correction we're looking for. That is this. So if you're in a really, really, really huge correction, what you want to do is find where that core correction is, where the most corrective part is. So we've got the core of the correction. I think it's this one. We thought it was this when we were looking for 1, 2, 3, until we got this. So it seems like this is much more corrective than this, which means we're going to use this as the core of the correction. You're going to go back up, you're going to come back down, you're going to go back up, and you're going to come back down. So if we start with this pattern, we are assuming that it's going to be something like this before it goes. Now we know where it's going, right? We're going to retest the top on the daily. I showed you that already. So once this correction is finished, I think you've got one similar one here. Once this correction is finished, which for now, this could change, but for now, we are assuming that it's going to go to the top there, come back here, go back there, come back here, and then go. So we can trade within this range. I think that's good. If it actually does what we think it's going to do, right? So let's say we make the forecast of this pattern. And let's make the assumption that this pattern actually works perfect. Then your trading becomes easy. All you have to do is look for a buy setup to the top, look for a sell setup down, look for a buy setup to the top. Now, in some of those trades, you're going to get break even. That should be your worst case scenario, not a loss, but a break even. That should be your worst case scenario, because if you put your stops correctly in a correction that you find, even if they drop a little and pull back, you will survive the next move down to get it to break even, right? So if you understand the patterns, and this is why understanding pattern is important. It's like anything you have knowledge over, right? Knowledge is important. Knowledge allows you to make rational decisions. It's ignorance that don't allow you to do that. Not knowing is the problem. Knowing is not a problem. The more you know, the better it is, right? So the more you understand wave analysis, the more you get the depth of it, the more you make rational, educated decisions as to what you're going to do, the more you can base your strategies around that. Now, if it works, great. If it doesn't work, most times you're just not going to be in that trade. And that is also okay if you're not in the trade, right? I don't see that as a problem. So let's see if this works. We'll come to the bottom here in the 1 hour now, and let's start looking for a buy setup. Every time they make a low here, we look for a buy setup, right? Now that I think this pattern is completed, because I'm looking at this pattern like this, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So if I get a flag here, I'm going for this one. Let's see if we get a flag. Maybe it goes and we don't even get a flag. The range is pretty good. The range from the top to the bottom is how much? That's 150 pips. Your job is to pull out a 6 to 7 pip trade out of it every time. Let's see if we can do that. If we get a move up and a flag, you get a move up, you get a flag here, you put an entry here, you put a stop here, and you get the trade to the top there, and you pull this out of it before it comes back and take you out here. I'd be okay with that. Right? If we can repeat the same thing to the downside. Pang Yen. Okay, this is going down, but not how I expected to, because we were selling it. We sold this, we sold that. So it's not really going down the way we expected, but you got some profit out of it. I don't like this piece going down like this, and I don't think this is the... I'm not looking at that as a running flat. We do have a small correction here, but it's not very corrective. It's really sharp. So on this piece is definitely not going down as an impulse. So my advice is we stay out of this and wait to see what it's doing before we take any trade in it. I'm not sure this is giving us any clue as to whether we should get a buy or sell, right? You're just getting a lot of pullback in here. That's all. This could be anything. It could be a channel in the making. It could be a running flat in the making. And if we're getting that inside of this, then we're probably in a longer term consolidation. Euro New Zealand. So you should have closed this trade. I actually, in the trading room this morning, it was here, and I tell my traders, well, take the trade off, but we left it here so we will show you how and where and when we take it off. Now, by rule, if this pulls back, the trade we were trading was this flat. If it comes back to that level, you better get rid of it, right? It's no longer valid. So we'll take that out. Now it's going down, but you see the depth of this pullback? The mere fact that this is going down doesn't mean anything. It's one more upside here, actually. We're expecting this to break out and break that top, but I don't think they're going to break the top and go very far. So I'll take this out. If we didn't buy this one, then I'm not interested in buying this one, because this flat is not only not going anywhere, it is actually inside of this flat. So when you start to get a flat inside of a flat, you're thinking channels, right? When you start to get flats inside of flats, you're thinking channel. And when they channel like that at the top, they normally drop. Now, could this be a big running flat in the making? Well, for that, it will have to go back here. Sorry. It will have to go back up to the top. Where is the, yeah, we'll have to go back up to the top. It will have to come back here. And now if they take off, we will get a running flat. So if we get a trade above here to go to test the top and we take it, we close the trade. If it comes back here sharp, that is this one. And if we see this, I'm buying this here, because now I know that this is what we're looking for to the upside. And that changes everything. As of now, I think it can break the top and start to drop. So once it gets to that top, we're looking for the sell again. Right, so let's go. Euros. Well, it seems like the same thing we're getting here, but this is pretty sharp, and this is pretty sharp. This is the only one that is corrective. So I think we still need to wait for a couple more, maybe get the core correction somewhere here, drop here, go back up there, and come down here. Right? So we would look at that possibility, and then we're going to take the trade. Right now, there's no trade set up. If this is going to drop, I can't sell it in here. It could drop. This could drop from where it is, right? Remember, it's at the top, so it could drop from there. But we can't sell it inside of this up move. We'll have to wait for it to break out and then look for a sell. Keep all the questions you have. I'll take them. Let's go through everything really quick, and then we'll take them. This is a buy setup again. If you want to buy it, you can put an entry here. Like you did the last time here, put an entry here. Probably put it above the top because it's just a few pips difference. There's a running flat in it, which means I believe they're going to come back down to the bottom here. They're going to come back here, and then it's going to go. Right? EuroCAD. Nothing much. It's going to make another one up. They're doing this here. See this, when we thought that was going to go up, they're doing the same thing here. So I wouldn't be surprised if they come back here and then go. It's kind of going up and down like this, and sometimes they do this in the EuroCAD. The bigger picture is downside. So I'm going to show you what we're looking for in here. So in this one, for me, this right now looks like the corrective part of this move. Right? We try to take some trades in here. They all turn out to be break-even trades. So what we're going to do is we're going to just leave it to make that. And on the way down, we would look for a sell. So we don't have a sell setup right now. But if we get a sell setup, we'll take it. Pound Swiss, if you took the trade, I hope you close it. You should close it. If you didn't close it now, because it's not going anywhere. This first pullback is where you should close it. If you didn't, you close it now, take out this entry order. What we can see, sorry, this one is here. What we can see is that they broke that flat, which is okay. And now they're making a bigger one. So I would go with this here, making a bigger flat right here, right now. Now, because I'm looking at this as an incomplete pattern, I'll show you it's a 15. I think this is incomplete. I don't think this has anything to do with this. And I think this one is incomplete. So you kind of get a move up, you get a 1, 2, 3 down. It has to come back to the top here, and then that's a sell setup. So if we get the sell somewhere in here, we'll take that sell. If we get a sell from the bottom here, we'll take it. So first it has to go back up, come retest this top. I'll just put a line where the top is. We can actually take out this sell. It's no longer valid. If you took that sell, you close it for break even. We can looking at this sell. This sell was profit. This sell is break even. So if you remember, let's go back and from Monday, right? From Monday, we told you this piece, we were here, and we told you this one is going to drop through the bottom. But don't stay with the trade when it's consolidating, because there is no use you staying overnight with a trade that's not going anywhere, right? You should get out of the trade and you should get back in the trade. So what we were looking for is that this could give you a drop like that, but you know, they don't always go like that. They sometimes do this. So right now we're doing one of that, but then there's a trade to come and break the low. So we will still go for this trade, but better yet if we get it from here going down. And this time we're hoping it's going to go in a single drop. I don't think it will, but we're going to hope for that. PUNCAD actually went up back, so we were pretty much in a big useless flat here. Just stay away from that. PUNC Oz, it's at the top. We really don't have a trade. They even broke out of this, but they didn't go anywhere. So I think if it comes back down, we're going to be... We made this top here already, so I'm not expecting them to break out of this anytime soon. Now, this might come back all the way to the bottom here. We don't have this set up for the trade. Natural gas. Okay, so it's going. If you had the entry here, you can take that out. If you sold that, you closed it. It's going sideways. So, like I said, they will eventually make a bigger consolidation with this. Remember when we wanted to buy this to see if it's going to go up like that? Well, it didn't. So if you took the trade, you got break even. And that's the right thing. Now I think this one is going to probably consolidate here, maybe even be something like this. And then we'll look for the sell setup. But if you want to put your entry order under the low, nothing is wrong with that. Right? Nothing's wrong with putting an entry order there. Actually, you have to keep it under this low. Right? I think this is starting to look like the most corrective part. We'll see to that. US oil, close the trade. If you took it, you close it. Put the entry under the low. It's making another flat. I think this one is going to go higher, right? This correction is going to go higher because it actually has a small buy setup. I don't know how aggressive you guys are, and I wouldn't encourage you to be because you might not have the skill level to get out of this. It does have a small buy setup here, and this is all the size of the impulse. So I don't think they're going to go very far. Once they get there, we will put the sell setup here for the downside. So right now, you're actually making a sell setup. Wait for that. Let it go a little higher, and then we'll put the sell setup a little higher. So for now, you can put it under the low. S&P 500. I think you realize you had enough time to take break even. We're making a bigger one. Take this out. We'll put it here for now, but you don't need to put it as yet because this actually went up. It came down back. It went up. It's doing this. This is going to come down, go back up. Right? Probably come down and go back up. I'm expecting that much to happen before we get the sell. So let's see what comes. I don't know what is going to come, but that much is what I'm expecting. And when that happens, then we'll get a sell. It's consolidating here for sell setups. Can this go back up to the top? It can. We don't have a buy setup as yet. All the consolidation is here. Natural gas, same thing. If you didn't manage to close this, which you should have probably taken a small loss and closed it on this pullback here, there are 4 hours sideways there. If you didn't, then it's coming back here now. You might want to close it because this is going to go back up. Right? This is a 1, 2, 3. This was going to go back up. Take a small loss here. Your stop was here, right? Above the impulse. So if you were risking 1% like this, this is where you're going to lose. And every time you take a bad trade and you lose that much from the trade, you're good. And that's the whole point. When the trade doesn't go your way, as a trader, your job is to get out for minimum loss. When it's going your way, which means when this one dropped like that, you take profit. You don't have to do much about that. That take care of itself. The same thing here. This could go up. This one could literally go up because this one dropped well, right? This was the flat. They actually dropped a good one and they pulled back and now they're making a flat here. See this? depending on how deep this comes down, it could be a buy. If it comes down really deep, you probably don't want to take the risk of the buy. You want to leave it alone. Nifty is consolidating for a buy setup. Keep your eyes on it. If this is going to be a sell, you can only sell under this with a flag. Right? So this one is actually going up. We can look for a buy setup if it stays there. Again, it might just be one impulse, take profit. Remember, this could go up quite a lot. So we can put this as a buy setup here. I'll put the entry over here. So let's go. What else? We're coming to those. We're coming to those. We're very close to the cryptos. Tesla, like I said, you can sell it to break this low, take profit. It's making another flag. You can decide on that. It's a sell setup. And Bitcoin. So Bitcoin dropped. Remember, Bitcoin was in here, and we told you there's a good chance it might stay in this range and then it's going to drop. Well, it actually dropped without staying much in that range, and it's making a new low. Now, here's the thing. This is the first time it's not dropping really sharp. See, these drops are really sharp. This is the first time the downside is really low. Again, once it breaks this, once it breaks through the last impulse to the upside, be careful, because that either that is still a correction, but a really deep one, or that could be the start of the downside, which means it's starting the downside. We just don't know that as yet because it's going really, really slow. Right? So we're going to figure that. And Ethereum. And let me take a second here, because all of you were in here yesterday. So I'm going to ask a question to everybody, because this is very important. How many of you heard me say you should buy Ethereum yesterday? Did I ever say to anybody that Ethereum is a great buy, go buy it? Just give me a yes if you heard that. Because we have the recording, right? We have the recording of yesterday. And on the 40 minutes, you can check, see what happened. Anybody heard me said this is a good buy setup? The answer is no. So one person went and bought it. He wrote me a message around 7:30 when I left my computer. All of you know I leave the computer at that time and I go. I think we were actually in the trading room at that point. Sent me a Skype message. I didn't answer to him. He's in a buy and he wants to know what to do with it, which I don't know why you're asking me that, because by rules, if you take a trade, you should know how to manage your trade. If you don't know, I do help a lot of traders. So he sent me another message an hour later. I was not at the computer. He sent me a message at 10 o'clock. I wasn't at the computer. I was probably asleep. And this morning, I got an angry message from him. So, oh, you're not helping me. You're not, and I don't want to go through all the details. And I wrote him and I said, dude, you keep sending me too much messages, because he does send messages. He sent messages on Saturdays and on Sundays. And I told him about that when he stopped sending Saturdays, and now he's sending in the night. And this guy somehow believe I'm working for him. Whenever he sent me a message, I should jump up and say, yes, boss, let me answer it, even if I'm asleep. And if I don't answer, he get angry. So here was his last message. Now I'm going to show you guys this message, because here, it's not about him. It's about you. Never, ever do this. It depicts who you are, not who I am, right? Whatever you're going to send me in Skype or written to me anytime, remember, it's more of a reflection of who you are, not who I am. So I'm going to show you a part only of his conversation, just one part. So I want to show you this part of the conversation. So after a long conversation between me and him, and me telling him that, dude, relax. Don't trade live, because all the live trades you send me were wrong. And some of them are 60% down on one a single trade. So my thing was like, okay, relax and stop trading live until you learn these patterns. And he kept going on and going on until he got really angry. I stopped replying to him, because I went to, my daughter is having diarrhea and she's vomiting. So I left the conversation to him and go there. And he got even angrier that I'm not answering him in time. This is an ongoing conversation. And he took on that, oh, now you're not helping me, and he's mad about me, and he's got a lot of money, so he's going to destroy me. And do you really want me to be your hater? Be my guest. I know he's in the room. Be my guest. Go be one of my haters. Please do me the favor. Join the line. I don't know if you're young and immature or you're old and stupid. I don't know which is it. But whatever you do is a reflection of who you are, not who I am. I continue doing what I'm doing, although there are a lot of haters there on YouTube making videos. He said first he didn't believe the video, but because I didn't answer him in time 10 in the night, now he believes the video. Very convincing. Congratulations, you're a very smart person. If that is what made you believe the video now, because I didn't answer you 10 in the night, my time, Now you believe it. Congratulations. So and then he puts a threat. If you don't answer me, you're going to regret. Like he's going to be the worst nightmare I've ever had. Guys, you don't do that. If you don't like me, you don't like me. Just move on with your life. Get a life. Remember, here's the thing you have to understand. You're given a certain amount of time. I'm giving a certain amount of time. You know what I do when I close the computer? I go play with my daughter. I love doing that. I enjoy doing that. And I know that will be memorable. If tomorrow I'm going to die, that is a memorable time I want to have. And I want her to have that memorable time. We would play all kinds of stupid things. We do all kinds of stupid things with her. She's 2 years old. And then I play with my son before he goes to sleep. He is 7. I am not at my computer. If you send me a message, I'm not answering you. I don't give a damn. I'm not there. And then after that, I'll probably sit with my wife a little before I go to sleep. Right? We may have tea, we may chat, we may do, and then I go to sleep, then we go to sleep. Basically, right? So I am not looking at a computer after that. Maybe I would look at it if I can't sleep. Of course, I'll pick it up and look at it, but not just to answer your questions, because I have 1,000 other questions to do and 1,000 other things I want to look at. I have emails. I have a lot of important things. I have to pay bills. I have to do a lot. I have a life, put it in short. So you don't demand I answer to you. And if I don't, you're going to be my worst nightmare. Be my guest. You know how many of them out there? And they're all angry exactly for the same reason. They're either stupid or they have an ego bigger than their head. So I think you don't have an ego. I think you're just stupid. Now go be my hater. I would love to regret it. Thank you very much. So here's why I'm showing you that. Not because of him. I don't care a damn about him. So you don't make that mistake. Learn from somebody else's mistake. Don't waste your time behind anyone. Not me, not anyone, because it's your given time. Use it for your family, use it for your own development. If you're going to take sleepless nights making videos about me, congratulations. That's your problem, not mine. I don't have a problem. You have a problem. You're going to spend sleepless nights worrying what to write about me and what to make about me and what to do. Do you think that reflects who I am? No. Not to my family, the people who I care about. Not to my close, distant family, the people who I care about. Not to my friends. I don't think Victor is going to wake up tomorrow morning and see you write something and say, oh, wait a second. I know Anil for 5 years. I think I've got to stop talking to him. This video definitely opened my eye, right? Or Georgie or any one of them is going to go, oh, wow. Look what this guy wrote about Anil. I should stop going to his room, right? Because this guy might be correct, right? It's not going to happen. You're just wasting your life. Go ahead and do it. Let's move on. I just wanted to show you guys that because he's in the room and I want him to hear it. I hope you learned something today, and I hope you really, really become a different person. If you need medical help, contact a psychologist. I can't help you. I tried to help you with patterns. I tried to be nice to you, and I answered a lot of your questions, but that seems not enough for you. In a short period of 1 month, I answered more questions to him than I did to Ivan in 4 years. I can actually take out the 2 Skype things and show you. I can show you all the messages from Ivan in 4 years and show you all the messages from these guys in 1 month. And you would see the difference, right? So don't do that, guys. Come on, all of you are smart people. I hate when people do that. Like, how immature are you to do that? So let's move on. He bought this. Why did you buy it? Who told you? What I said to you yesterday is you have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It came to the low. There is a chance it's going to make 1, 2, 3. Not breaking the top because we came to the low. Maybe break the top and then come back here. What is the trade you're waiting for? A sell setup, not a buy. That is a sell setup. I actually showed you this and said that was a sell setup. This is a sell setup. This is even flatter than that. And then when you look at it, it still is going to make 1, 2, 3. But instead of that, this will be running flat within this move to the downside here now. So this would be all your correction. And that is how wave analysis works. The wave patterns are complex. They're not impossible, they're complex. That is why if I had to trade this, I would be either in a sell or I wouldn't be in it. Now, because I'm looking at a pattern that there is a possibility that it is going to go back here, and then I would look for my sell setup, I would not be in that trade. And I am not in that trade. And none of you should be in that trade. But if you got in the trade accidentally, what was your exit strategy? Now, here's the thing every trader should understand. Before you click a trade, Any one of you, I don't care who you're trading, what strategy you're trading, what you do, whether you like it. Before you click any trade, I don't care who told you to click the trade, because you should not listen to anybody. You should be able to understand the trade setup you're taking. And before you do that, make sure you know what's your exit strategy. All my traders will tell you, you have two types of exit strategy. You have your extreme exit strategy, which is your stop loss. That's the extreme point where you're saying to yourself, if it gets to that level, I'm out of the trade. Good, and I'm willing to accept that loss. If it is a loss you can't accept, don't take the trade. And the second thing you should have is a trade management strategy, which says, okay, this trade is not going my way. I need to get the hell out of the trade. Not allowing it to go to your stop loss. Those are the two most important things I focus on in my group. We sometimes put stop loss that is 100 pips, knowing that it's 100 pips. We double the risk in that trade, but we never allow it to get there. Most of the time, those trades are close to break even. Now, let's say within this week, you took 20 trades and 19 are break even. Let's just say that until today, you took 20 trades, 19 are break even. If a loss or a win, it doesn't matter. We had a lot of wins. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I can show you, right? If you want how many trades went the way we expected to go, 2 very serious loss, which took out the stop loss, and the rest were break even. If you took all your trades to break even this week, and next week you only get 2 winning trades, you made money, your account is intact. Because your job is what? Your job is protecting your capital. It's not getting a winning trade. If any trader thinks his job is getting a winning trade, you're in the wrong business. Your job is to protect the capital you have. And anything you can do to make sure that that capital doesn't go down is a good strategy. Even if you have to close all the trades you're in by the evening because they're not going your way, or because the profit, it's not, you have to move away from the computer, or because you're in too small profit and it's too slow because you have very small losses and they're not going. Whatever the reasons for closing those trades, if you did that and you protect your capital to come and trade the next day, you're doing the right thing. If you leave all open with an risk of 5, 6, 10, and sometimes that guy showed me a risk of 60% on a single trade, you're stupid. You shouldn't be in this business, because that's not how this business should work. Because you're risking everything you have on a single trade, and that's not how it should work, or a couple trades. That is not a good business. Go ask any of the big supermarkets if they put 1 or 2 items in their shop and hope they get rich. No, that's why it's called supermarket, because you're going to have thousands and thousands of items in there. You know why? They don't care which one sell. They will still make profit. That's why they have thousands. And that is why you should take at least 5 trades a day, because you don't care which one goes. If one of them go, great for you. If none of them go, okay, get rid of all of them. But the number one thing you should learn is, before you take that trade, make sure you know what is your exit strategy. If you don't have an exit strategy, don't take any trade ever. Ever. If you're clicking a trade and you don't know how you're going to exit that trade, or how you're going to manage the trade, you better join me, because you need to learn those stuff, right? That's what's going to save your account. Nothing else will save your account but that. The idea that you know where you're exiting and how you're going to manage the trade. So let's move on. This one. You bought here. If you pull back, you close, you bought here, your gain, there's a buy here. See? You can know where and when I'm having a buy. Now, this buy is really good. Even if it's going to be a loss, the buy is a really good setup, and I'm going to show you why. Now, none of you should take this trade because I said this is a good setup. Let's start with that. Disclaimer, I'm not making a trade call for you. I'm not making a trade call for you. I'm telling you how I would trade this trade in specific based on the wave analysis I'm using. We broke the low. That's the number one thing we wanted it to do. We wanted to break that low. This is a corrective structure. This is an impulse. We know what the bigger pattern is, and we know where it's going, right? The bigger pattern is this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because this is more of the corrective part. And we are expecting 1, 2, 3. Now it might go like this piece. See how that piece went really sharp there? See how sharp this move was up? There was some pullback in it, but it's sharp. It could go like that, or it might go really slow. Now, if you see this, and it's breaking out of the structure with a consolidation at the top, that's your buy. So this first buy that you got, you're either still in it and you have it at break even now, or you closed it, you re-enter, you closed it, you're having a re-entry here. Now this entry, if that moves away, you can put this to positive. This is the 4-hour flag, right? That's a 4-hour correction. Now this trade, I would like to buy this. I put my entry above the top here. Let it prove it can break out of that. I don't want to put it here and let it tag me and drop some more, because this could drop some more. If that drops some more, I'm not going to be in a trade. So if you look at this as a smaller flat in here, and there it is a smaller flat here right now. Can this come back here and still do that? Yes, possible. Would I sell this at the top here? Not as yet. See, I would not be selling it as yet. It has to really drop like this, make a flag under these lows, and then not go back to the top, but make a flag. Then I will consider selling this flag for the low if I want to sell it. Right? Someone insisting and calling me here. 1 second, guys. This will be from the hospital. Let me just take it to the clinic. Sorry. Sorry about that. It's just the number looks just like a clinic number, but it's just one of those. Okay, let's go. So let's go. This one is coming down, and like I said, you're not going to be selling this until you actually get a pullback, right? Because this thing could come down here, and the minute you get into a sell is when it actually takes off back to the top, and all of this will just be one big correction because you're coming from the bottom here. Now, here's the thing: you also don't have a buy setup. If you're going to sell this, you actually want it to pull back here. And if you're going to learn anything, is that when you get this, you better wait for this. Because if you're selling at the bottom here in a 5-minute, that 5-minute will cost you a lot. Because it can tag you and it can literally do this. By the way, Pung is going very nice. We expect it to go. I'm still in and it's going really nice. So great. Let's see if it keeps going. That would help, right? ADA coming down also. This, I think, very likely could break the low. Right, this could break the low here. So I wouldn't be surprised if this comes here and then go back there, right? So keep an eye on that. LTC coming down. We'll go look at trades again just now. It's coming down. This could go back up. Keep an eye on it. If you're selling, this is okay. If you're buying it, wait for the setup. Right now, it's a sell. BNB, sell. But you don't want to sell this. Although it's a sell setup, you don't want to sell it. I explained why yesterday. It's the same thing for today. If anybody join us for the first time today, it's probably going to break this low and come back here. We have a sharp wave there. It could break the low, make another one, make another one, make one, come back here. But because we know this could happen, I don't like that trade. That's simple. And you're at the bottom, so it doesn't make sense. Okay, we finish everything. XPD, those who want. So we finished that. Here's what we're going to do now. There are some questions. Let me go through them really quick. And what I want you to do is type charts that your trade you're in, or trade setups that you see, and we would look at those because it has to be a trade setup. We're trading here, right? This is live trading. I went through everything, show you the analysis, tell you what we do with them. Now we're going to trade. We're in this trade, so I'll start with this one because we are in the trade already. If any one of you follow me and took the trade, that is, if you do on your own, you're doing well. So those who join after the fact, when we got in the trade here, your entry should be here. Your stop should be here. Now we will move that stop up because this is a running flat. And based on the way we trade running flats, is you put this stop, your stop should be under here, not under there. So you can move your stop up. And if this keeps going, we'll move it into profit. Now, is there any news? No, there's no news. It's just moving. So good for us. I think we've got the right one because we understood how this could move. Right? So one trade going well. You are already going to be one-to-one very soon, and you can decide what to do. So we have some questions. Let me go through them really, really quick. Europang sell because isn't Europang a potential running flat in the bigger time? Yes, it is a bigger flat, but we don't have the sell setup as yet. That's why we don't put the sell. I agree with you. It's a bigger one for downside, and it makes a potential. So you're right about that. We just don't have the setup. We'll come to Euro. I'll come to those. Right. Let me see. If he wants, oh, Joji, don't worry with that guy, man. I you know me. For now, you know, I don't worry with them. I just showed you guys, so don't make that mistake. Because, I mean, how many times I told you guys, I want you to be nice. I want you to be nice people in general, right? There's no need to do that. If you don't like, here's the thing. If I write somebody a question once and they didn't answer me, I have the decency not to bother them again. Because there are many reasons they're not going to answer. What if the person's in hospital? What if I was in the hospital and you keep bugging the people and telling them, insulting them and telling them, oh, you're not answering to me. And then you find out the guy's in hospital. I was in hospital once with my daughter when one guy did that. But he had the decency not to bug me too much. He just asked 3 questions and then he said, okay, when you're ready. And then I did answer. He even apologized for sending 3 questions. So you don't know what's happening on the other side. Just don't do it. That's the decency. That's the thing you should learn when your parents brought you up. That's what my parents taught me. Right? So I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't send you a question, 10 questions, and then insult you for not answering me immediately. It's just common sense, right? I don't know why I have to explain that to a grown-up, grown-ass person. I shouldn't be. I'm not his parents. Right? It's just basic things in life that, you know, a guy called me. If I didn't answer you, then something, I might have an emergency on my own. Don't you think so? Aren't you thinking that you're not the center of the world? You're not the center of the universe that I have to answer you immediately, anybody you send. And I think he is behaving that way not only with me. I assume he's behaving that way with everybody in his circles. He thinks he's the center of the universe. So when he sends you a question, if you don't answer immediately, he's going to get pissed off. Thank God he doesn't have power, because that is what makes dictators. So we have to say, thank God he's not the president, because half of the people in this country will be dead. That's how dictators behave. They believe they're the center, and if they don't get what they want, then they kill everybody. Anyone who goes against them dies. Anyone who says something against them dies. Anyone who doesn't look at them the right way dies. That's the kind of narcissistic power some people think they have. Now, thank God, a lot of them don't have any power, so they just go and write nonsense on the internet about you. Please join the line and write the nonsense about me. I don't care. Right? Go write nonsense about me if you have to. If you feel you have an obligation to do that and that will make you happy, be my guest. There's enough nonsense about me. That doesn't change who I am. So let's go on. Road direct messages looks like it should be for you. Hi, sir. How are you? Hope you are fine. I am from Sri Lanka and you trader. Are you free, please, kind enough to look at my charts and analysis? Not in here right now, but afterwards, send me them. I look at them. I do that. A lot of traders, I think there's thousands of traders who send me and I do answer them. Right? But sometimes not immediately. Europong, let's see. Somebody wants Europong badly because it's probably going down. Let's see. Yep. So that is why the entry is here. And like I said, remember what I said, this could be a flat here for one more down. If you're paying attention, this could go down. It's not a sellers yet, right? I warned that we're not selling. You have to look at the whole structure, the depth of this pullback. Although this is coming down, Pong is going up, it's not a sellers yet because this can stop and go back. If Euro starts going up now, this will go right back up. Right? So the only way this becomes a sell is if it makes a flag under all of this. Right? It needs to make a flag under. Here's a good example. When we had this, we didn't sell it in here, right? But if you wanted to sell this, you could sell it. Now that would be a break-even trade. But if you wanted to sell that one, you can sell. When this comes here and make a flag, we'll go for the sell for the low. I want to sell this. I was in the sell once, more than once, and I was in this sell. I think I took a sell in this one and I closed it break even. I took that one, closed it break even. I took this one, closed it break even. So basically a number of trades that I took. We want the sell, but we don't have the sell set up, right? Because we'll wait. It could be it's going down now. We'll get it, right? So let's see what else. Somebody asked for another trade. Euro Oz, please. Let's go. Type all the trades you guys want, all the setups. We did everything. So if you're in a trade, Euro Oz looks upside, right? That deep pull back to the top there. So it's kind of the problem with this is that this is the most corrective one. This is sharp. This is extremely sharp. So this could come a little here, go back up to the top, come here, and then go. If it stays there, good, we'll buy it. As of now, we don't have any buy. So what if it's going to drop? Let's say that was just a deep pullback. That happens sometimes, and then it dropped. This is a perfect flag, but the flag is at the wrong place. It's inside the correction. And it's at the bottom. It's not even at the top of the correction, so we can take it with risk to reward. It's inside the correction. So all it needs to do is drop here and go right back up. Now, if you know patterns, you know that that is possible. And if you know that is possible, what are you going to tell yourself? Okay, I'm not trading that. Let it prove that it's not doing that. And by proving it has to drop through the bottom like this, make a flag here, and then we're going to go. We will definitely sell it, right? Yeah, please write in English because everybody else understands English, right? That will help. I myself, I only know English and some Russian, so Right, in English. Let's go. Tell me what other setups you want, what are the trades you're looking at. Right now, the Aussie, like I said, Aussie, New Zealand, they're going up for the sell setup. We know they're going up. They have to break these stops. And then we will start to look for sell setups. Not a fact that they will become sell setups that is going to break through. But if they come here, they could come back to the low, go back there, come back to the low, go back there, and then they can drop. So it's not a fact that we will get this trade and it's going to drop to the bottom. But that's a good thing about wave analysis. It's going to prevent you from making mistakes that don't work. I'm in Bitcoin long as of this morning. Isn't it possible that this could be a truncated bottom? I don't believe in anything called truncated bottom, but I'll look at it for you. I will tell you what I will give you a humorous story about truncated bottom. Don't take it hard and don't let all the Elliott wavers get at me. Because if before Elliott, there was a Dow Jones theory. The Dow Jones theory is that the chart moves in three-wave structures, right? Which is it'll make a move, it will make a correction, and it will go again, right? Dow came up with that theory, mostly of three waves, like an impulse, a correction, an impulse. But I don't think he called it impulse correction. I can't remember exactly, but basically it's like it moves in waves, but mostly in three waves, not in five-wave structure. Elliott came and Elliott studied the chart and said, no, they're mostly five-wave, three-wave structures. So 5 waves up, 3 waves down, because his explanation for that was that you can't get progression if you move 3 up, 3 down, which is incorrect. And I'll tell you why that is incorrect. So his idea is you move 5 and you move 3, and then you will get progression in the next 5 because the next 5 will go much higher in progress in the tree, right? And when he couldn't get 5 in some of those impulses, he came up with a theory of truncation, right? So, this is supposed to have 5, but this 5th one didn't break the top, it truncated. No, that's part of the correction. It actually had 3. Right? That was just an explanation. Truncation is just an explanation of why we don't have 5 and we have 3. Well, because most times the chart moves in three-wave patterns. Dow was absolutely correct about that. And the reason you get progression is because when it's moving in an impulse, it moves much faster. When it's moving in a correction, it moves. The impulses in a correction are small. So this is an impulse when it's moving in the direction of the trend. This is the size of an impulse when it's moving against the trend. See these impulses? They're much smaller than that impulse. So the next move down will give you progression. See, that was the misunderstanding between the Dow theory and the Elliott wave theory. So if you understand those two, that is what I corrected when I figure out that, hey, wait a second, this thing is moving in 3 ways. We're not getting 5 ways. What we should do? That's when we actually said, okay, wait a second. There is something else to this. And that's when I found out that you could actually figure out what is a single wave. And if you have a tool to measure what is a single wave, it's just a tool to measure, like they create tools to measure. Remember when they want to measure length, they use the foot of the king. And then they said, wait a second, why should we use the king foot? Let's use a metric system. Let's use a system that is more normalized, right? It has equal proportions. Well, we actually found a system, a way of defining what is a wave. And once we found that, then you start finding you don't have 5 waves. And some of those that have 5 and 7 waves actually have 3 waves because some of those corrections are smaller and they're within a single wave, right? So when you start to understand that, that changes your view of wave analysis. And that's how I came up with wave analysis, not Elliott wave, not Dow theory, not Elliott wave, but wave analysis. And that somehow became the most popular thing around. And, you know, it's the most popular thing if you think about it. You don't even have so much Elliott wavers anyway. I see a seasoned Elliott waver, literally a seasoned Elliott waver who was an Elliott waver before I started trading. I used to watch this guy's video to learn Elliott wave when I was learning Elliott wave. And of late, one of his videos is that, I'm doing wave analysis. He still maintains Elliott wave at the top, but he says the new wave analysis, which, congratulations, we know where that came from. He still put his name as Elliott wave because he's still selling whatever he's selling as an Elliott waver. But he did mention in one video that this is the new wave analysis he's using, which is good. I have no problem with that. He's learned something. He's willing to share it with the rest of the world. I hope he's sharing the correct one and the right way he learned it. Let's move on. Peng is a good example, right? Yep. All of them. There's a lot of them that if you look at, you see the difference. And that's the difference in how we look at the charts. So somebody wants Bitcoin for the upside. It's not an upside as yet. It's not a buy setup. Actually, you can see that we're making a flat here. This is still going to drop. So I don't know where you bought it, but if you can get out for break even when this comes back here, that will be really good for you, right? If you can come out of it for break even come out and wait for the right setup to get in. Now, I can't tell you what to do with your trade. I'm telling you what I would do if I were you. I will close that trade for positive if I get positive, and then wait for the right setup to take the trade. Right? Pong is pulling back a little. Be careful. If this starts to become a running flat, we're going to exit the trade, right? So let me just go through the trade we're actually in. The pullback by itself is not a problem. They were pullback. This was a pullback. This was a pullback once we get tagged. This single pullback is not a problem. It could be a 1, 2, 3, and they're going down, right? So if you don't like the trade, you can put it at break even. You had how many pips here? You had about 24 pips. That's not enough, right? I have about 26 or 28. I have a few more because I entered here. So I am like this level. We don't worry about the first pullback because the first pullback normally, there's a lot of time when they pull back here and they go, right? That's a 1-minute correction. Put it that way. You would rather wait for this to come back here and start to do this. And then you're confirmed they're going to go down. You close the trade. But if it goes back up, just stay with the trade. And most times they just go back up. So let's see. Anything else we're in? Let's go. There's some messages in there. Mana, okay, I think we just looked at that. No, we don't have it there. We have it at the bottom. I think we have we have it there, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Vic. Go ahead. So this is still downside, right? This whole structure, I think structurally it's moving down more. Yeah, I explained this. If we think this is a running flat, and there's a possibility that is a running flat because you have a really sharp wave here. See that sharp wave there? You got to move a correction and move a smaller one. They drop to the bottom, and then they make a sharp move up. So this might even retest this entire low. I wouldn't be surprised if that comes back and retests the low. So we don't have any buy setup here. This is literally sell going down. If you go in the 1 hour, it's still making flats for downside. This was a flat for downside. You're making smaller flags in here. I wouldn't sell the smaller flags. I'll wait for a deeper correction. Now, there is a chance it's going to pull back deep. You had this pullback and you had this pullback, right? I don't think this pullback has anything to do with this. So there's a chance you could get a sharp move up here, get a running flat, and still go down. But you don't have a setup for a buy. See, that's the problem. So you can't buy it until you get the setup. If it continues to drop, that sharp move will come way later. Dent USDT. I don't know if we have that anywhere. That is a new one. Okay, there's so many of these. Let's see. We're going to do that one quick. Oops. This one is a little different. Okay, we got the low. We know where the low is. The total low here. So I think this is actually really good, by the way. It's good because you can see the sharp move. You can see this. You can see the corrective structure here. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that correction is over. Right? There are sharper waves inside here, but I think all of these are part of the down move that came to the low here, right? So this was the first sharp move up. And we never broke that top. Not only did we not break the top, everything is inside of that. This slow move down, that move up, this slow move down. We're still inside of the low. We're still inside of this one. We actually broke the low, but I don't think that, it's over. I think there's a good chance that this will get a sharp move up. It's coming down. This came down, this came down, this, you got this sharp move here, you got this one, you get here. So you might even go with, I don't think we have anything for this one. 1, 2, 3, probably go back up even. Make a flat, come down back here. And then you can get a sharp move. So wait for it to break the low and then look for a buy setup. I would say let that break the low and then start looking for a buy setup. Because it's going to go break the low. Now, can you sell it to break the low? I don't know. I don't trade this on these short term, so I don't know if you can do that. If you can do that, that'd be great. Scroll up to your question. Okay, let's see where your question was. Okay, complex corrective structure should at least have one core correction to consider it complete. Yes. Sometime wave is 100%. Should we still consider any Expanding flat for the trend continuation. Waves reverse 100%. It could go even above the top. That will be an expanding or running flat in the future. Depending, if you're looking at the pattern correct, yes. If not, then that. But I like the fact the core correction, right? Pay attention to that core correction. You're going to hear it very often on the internet now. Can you look at NIO? That is some crypto. Oh, no, this one, the top one, right? I think the top one is what you're looking at. Okay, this is dropping quite a lot. Oh, somebody asked me about this earlier, right? So this is when? This is 2020. So that person, if you're in the room, you owe me a lot of money, my friend. Whoever that person is, if you're in the room, you owe me a lot of money. This was the forecast. I didn't even remember looking at this thing. But look at the analysis. Isn't that amazing? Who this person is that asked me about it, come on, don't be shy. You can send some money my way. That's a lot of money you made there. Look at it. Look at the power. And you had another one here. Look at that one there. That's a lot of cash, right? That analysis was done how many years ago? Years ago. So the power of wave analysis is there. At least you got another one, and then you got a bigger correction, and you go. So let's look at the bigger structure for you. Now, this is all I have. I don't know if this is all. You'll have to tell me if this is where it started. There's probably a low here. But this piece coming down, I think it's easy for you to see, right? This is really sharp, right? And this is really corrective. Vladimir, was it you who asked me in 2020? So look at this and look at this. So this is coming lower, but I think, oh, don't worry, my friend. It's okay. So then we can look at this coming up here. There's a good chance, because this is very corrective. This would be part of the correction. It will be all the correction. If it's part of the correction, and this wave going up will be slow. It will come down back like this, but then it's going to go up. So I think you start looking for buy setups, maybe some more downside. If it comes all the way to the low, then forget about it. This is a stock, right? So if this thing comes back all the way to the low, it's going to collapse. It's going to probably go bankrupt, bankrupt or something. So you probably want to be careful with it as it goes lower. If you get a buy setup, go for it. Let's see the 4 hour. Do we have a buy setup? No, we don't. First thing, you want to break that low clearly break out of the low, not just come to the low. What you have is the possibility of this coming back to the top here. See that? You got this move up, you got 1, 2, 3, you get this move up and then drop again. So you have a possibility of them coming back to the top and then dropping. So if you can trade that piece up carefully, you might have get a 1 hour flat here for a buy. Let's see. Nope, you don't have this setup as yet. See, there's no setup. This one came sharp, but it didn't consolidate here. You need that consolidation in this range, and then that would be a good trade. Back to the top and then back down, because it's going to go lower. I hope that helps. Let's go. What else we have? Natural gas big picture. Let's go natural gas big picture. See how wave analysis work? Things I do years ago that, forget about it. Natural gas, we're waiting for the sell. We're waiting for this to do this to the sell. The big picture is upside. I think the big picture of this on the daily is upside. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at this 2 ways weekly. We're going to look at this 2 ways. I don't have the bigger picture here, so I'm not sure if this came from the top or if it came from the bottom. Right? We'll have to look for that in the internet, and when we get it, we can tell you. So let's assume for a second that this was the top of something there. We're coming back. Well, normally when they come back, they'll try to retest the low. So this piece here would make a correction like this. See that correction there? There's a good chance you might get it will probably come back here, go back up there, make something like this, and then drop here before the next up move starts. Because it's not going to drop lower than this. You notice every time they come to this area here, they go back up, because this is something that has a cost value to it, which means it can go beyond the cost of production. Right? It's not going to work to go beyond the cost of production. Somebody will have to subsidize it. Otherwise, it's going to. So let's put the cost of production at 1.5, which means this can get to 1.5, but after that, it's going to go back up. I hope that makes sense, right? Because cost of anything that has a cost of production will have a bottom to it, right? So you're making a flag right now that it's going to come down a little and then go back up for a running flat. And then from there, it could drop. After that, you'll be careful. So watch this piece, what it's doing. Here's something that is interesting. If it comes here, if this flat comes back all the way to the top here, wait for it to go there and then buy it. The buy would be amazing. Because if it does that, then they might be going up from this point. Right? The bigger picture could start here. But like I said, I need to know what happens before they have to tell you whether this needs to break the low or tag the low at least. What can happen in pound Swiss in 15 minutes if I do a regular flat or contracting flat in 15 minutes on the CAD Swiss? Okay, so this trade yesterday didn't go, which is why we said close it and put it back above the top. Right? Get out of the trade, put it above the top because it dropped. As a matter of fact, there was a smaller flat in here we ignore. So it break the low. On this one, it's going to go back up. The big picture of this is up, right? It will go back up. There's no question whether this is going to go back up. The question is when, right? Because you can see the correction. And I don't think this breaking the top here was the end of the structure. Right? It could be, but I don't think so. So I think there's a high probability of this going back up. On the 1 hour, we don't have a trade set up as yet. On the 15, if you're looking at a 15, if you're looking at, we don't have anything. Even if this here is more of a consolidation. If you want to sell it, then you would have to wait for more of a consolidation like this. Right? This will have to make a lot more here. And then you can get a sell setup. Now the sell setup is huge risk. The risk to the reward in the sell is not good. Whereas if it turns to the upside, the sell setup for the upside, the buy setup for the upside would be amazing. So I'd say probably stay away from it. Wait for the bigger trade with better risk to reward and much more better trade, right? Okay, did I miss something? You missed the US 30. Nope, we closed all those trades. The US 30 yesterday, if you sold it, you closed the trade already. The sell was under here. You closed that trade. It's going sideways. Now, it all depends on how deep this comes. How deep this comes. You might consider a buy here. If it stays there, you can consider this for a buy. But if it comes deeper to the bottom, then it will probably go back up, make a flat, and a sell again. We don't have the same thing on NASDAQ. See? NASDAQ already came back deep. The first move on the NASDAQ, that move, you should close it here. If you didn't close it here, wait for this to come here and close it there. Because once it comes here, it's going to go back up. Right? So you'll get a flat here. There's a good chance it might pull back and go back up. All of this could be one flat for a sell in New York session. So New York session, we could get a sell setup again. Because they didn't really drop and break the low, right? It's just making a bigger consolidation to come back to this level. And they do that sometimes. They make a small one, then make a bigger one. And S&P 500 give you break even too. If you took the trade, you close it there, it got break even. If you didn't close it there, now is your chance to close it here. Because this is going to come here and go back up. I think we're going to get a flat here. We'll look for the sell setup. It could come down and go back up again, which means you'll get a bigger flat and then we'll sell it. So if that stays there in a flat, then likely it will stay as a flat, will sell. Great. Hello, can you look at Ocean USDC? We got one. Let me see. Anything else I miss? Any other things? We have 2 cryptos requests now. Anything else I miss? NYMEX. NYMEX has more data, so for not NYMEX. That's, you mean if you go here, you can find the NYMEX one, right? Let's see. We don't have NYMEX here. I don't think we'll get it. Oh, if I use that code, we'll get it. Let's see. So let's search for it. NG1. Okay, we got it here. So which the natural gas, the futures, let's use this one. We don't want the futures. We're going to use this and see. They're the same chart. Sometimes they're different, right? They might not be the same chart sometimes. Well, it looks similar. Let's see in the weekly. Okay, so this gives us a better perspective. A little better, put it that way. So the low, they came up, and this is pretty much 1, 2, 3. You got a bigger one. Yeah, it can break the low. It can literally break the low, right? If you're looking at it this way, right? So you can look at this as 1. This down move came down here. You can take it to wherever you want at this level. So like 1, all of this can still be correction, right? All of that. If you take all of this as the correction, then you have 1, 2, 3, this could come back here, right? It will break the low and then go back up. You can do it that way. If you take this to be it, if you take this to be it, let's say we take this as the low and we take this as a 1, 2, 3. Then this came down, this is coming down. It's going to break the low. It's going to go back up. It's going to come back down, and then it's going to go back up. So it will just make a bigger flat in here. This is the first up move. So the next up move would be here. It just depends when this break the low. If this is the one taking off. So they're actually ranging. Let's put it that way. Gas cannot get higher than $13. That is too expensive. Nobody will be able to use it. It can get cheaper than 1.5 when you're at the bottom. So when you're at the bottom, all you have to look for is at some point it's going to do this, it's going to do this, or it's going to do that. Because we have this and this, the possibility is when it comes here, it's going to do this, which means we will come back to close to about a 10 and then drop again. So it will be in a range here for a while. It might go slow, it might go fast, but it's going to range here for a while. I hope you got the idea, right? That's how you look at patterns. Go back to the 1 hour. What we're looking at, somebody asked for Aussie CAD 15 minutes time frame. I think we have the Aussie CAD at the bottom here. Let's see. So Aussie CAD, yesterday we were looking for this buy and we were looking for this buy. None of them happened. So this would be more of a contracting flat. I'll go with this more of either a contracting flat or a running flat with something else. We look at that. It dropped again. It's still upside, right? That has not changed. So what we can look for here is if you're looking at the 15 minutes, I'm expecting this to come back down. I want this to come back here first and then go with this flat and go with it buy here. If it keeps dropping, you wouldn't be in the trade. If it goes back up, you'll be in the trade. So yesterday, remember this one? It actually dropped, you're not in the trade. I'm not really keen about this. I'm keen about the upside because the upside potential is much more. Right? So if you're looking at a big picture of where your trade is going to be and what you're looking for, the upside potential, if you get this trade, is actually coming back to break this top. That's a trade. If you get a downside, they're just coming to break this low. Right? Like this one. See, they only came and break that low and they pull back. If you're in a trade and it's pulling back, you're going to get the hell out of the trade. So when it breaks this low, it starts to pull back, you're going to get, because potentially this can go there. So the upside trade is always better in this case than the downside. Okay, let's go. What else are we looking at? Aussie, New Zealand. By the way, I hope somebody is selling this. This is a long-term sell. When you guys came in the first time, I think we did it to show you this is a long-term sell. Sell and stay with it for a long time if you get positive thing. Okay, what other trade setups? What did I miss? Tell me. Did I miss anything? If I miss your question, please repost it. I'll look at it. Anything that I missed you want me to look at, repost. Or any trade setups that you guys see that you think we can get. I don't see any. Right now, everything is just consolidating. This just happened to be a bad time when everything is consolidating, right? So you're not really getting good trades. Once they start to move, we get good trades, right? I think you saw when we got a good trade at the drop of these two things. We got a few good trades too. So we'll still get more good trades here. Once they start dropping again, we'll get another one. It's going to break this low. So this afternoon, we should get a good trade. Oh, Dodge USDT, I think, right? Let's see. I think we had that here in the list. Oh, yeah, wait. I think we have it here somewhere. I'm pretty sure I just saw that. Look. We have the USD one. It's the same as the USDT. I think it's the same. Structurally, they're the same. So you're actually the bottom of this thing, right? This is coming down. See, you're the bottom here. The only question you probably have is whether this is going to go back up to the top there, right? Make a flat like this and then drop. Then come down here, right? Actually, it's probably going to come like this if it does. So let's see if that possibility exists. We're going to look at this. If you take this out, we're looking at this as a 1, 2, 3, which means I think it's done. But if that is one part of it, because this is not coming down like an impulse, this is coming down more like a correction. Right? So this one is coming down with a flat here and a correction here, and you're coming here. So there's a chance it's going to go back at least to this level and then drop, or it could actually go back to the top and then drop, which means we would look at this as a 1, 2, 3 structure. So there are possibilities for the upside. I think short term, this for the upside. Go to the 4 hour. It's coming down really slow, like kind of a channel. It could break the low first, right? Which means within this structure, this could come and break this low first, shorter sell setups and then up. So for now, like this, if you took the sell setup, take profit, that was a good sell. This one doesn't have a sell setup right now. You're doing this, so that's not a sell setup. If it breaks out, make a flag, go for the buy. If it stays here and do this for a while, you'll still have to wait for the buy, because there's no good sell setup in it right now. APT USDT and then Ocean, right? Let's look at those two and then we'll see. There's a lot of cryptos here to go with. Wow, I don't know if this is real. I have no idea whether this thing is real. So I will start with this coming up here and going there. I'll ignore that. I think it's not real. Even if it's real, it wasn't kind of a tradable something. So this, if this is the low, and there's a possibility that is low, which means this one came from here. This is kind of a correction, right? So you're dropping, and at some point, if you're short term, you have sell setups. If you're long term, wait for the buy. So short term, it's sell, long term, wait for buy. I think that's clear. And let's look at the next one, Ocean. Sorry. Is it the USD or USDT? USDT, right? Oh, we looked at this already. It's coming down. I don't think we made a low here, right? So there's no guarantee this is gonna. Here's the thing. See, you see when they made that up move there? See that deep pullback they made there before it goes back up? We're doing similar here. We made this up move and we're making a similar down here, right? See that? Very similar. Kind of come back here and then you could get this one. Now, would this one be the one that actually repeats something like this? And then come back here? That's possible. Would this be the one that actually go test the top? That is also possible, right? What is real? This one here? I'm not sure what the real was. So we're looking for this. And now you're going to look for, it's coming down. Take every trade to the downside if you want within this, but this structure is upside. So this would eventually go back up. Okay, what else? In terms of probability, how would you rank the percentage probability of having a regular flat, running flat, expanding flat? Running flat is the most, regular flat is the next, expanding flats, or they're rare. Contracting flats, we don't forecast. Contracting flats are all hindsight. You would put the contracting flat only hindsight. We don't even trade them. Because every expanding and running flat had a contracting flat before it became that. So here's a good example from this morning. Let me go through it, you'll see it. Come, 15 minutes. Now, this morning we saw this. We saw this and we thought, well, maybe we have a contracting flat here. So let's take the trade above the top. Right? It tagged us and then it came back down. But here's the thing. We knew that this is going to be a running flat in the future, right? So we know that is possible. The stop was under the low. So when they started to come down, it wasn't really, bothering me because I knew that they could do that and then go. So now we have a running flat. Now, here is a question you're going to ask yourself. Is the running flat completed? Right? Could this be all for 1, 2, 3? And that means we can drop. Now, I'm looking at the structure and my entries here, like I said, I'm not really worried about the first pullback because rarely they drop through the bottom. If I'm worried about my trade now, I can take the stop from here and bring it to this level, which means I'm not expecting them to reverse this. I can put my stop here. That's one way of managing my trade. I can put it there and say, well, if you actually reverse this, get me out there, I'll lose this much while I was risking this much. So I was risking this much, but I'll lose less than half. So I'm okay with that. I'm willing to take that risk. But my stop is still here for now, because at this point, if this starts to consolidate here, which is what it's doing, if I start to see that consolidate, I'll close the trade. If you're in the trade, you'll do exactly the same thing. Now, if this next one goes back up there, well, I'll stay with the trade. If it starts to pull back, I'll close the trade. Because when I close it, my entry is going to go above the top. So it all depends on what happens when it, if and when it gets there. If it stays here, I'll close that trade. See? So that's how you manage. So if you're right now in the trade and you don't like it, you think this trade is going to drop, close the trade. Wait for an entry above the top. Right? It's very simple. Right now, I'm still in the trade because I'm waiting for that consolidation, or I'm waiting to see whether it's going to go back to the top. I don't really panic when I trade. I think my experience is enough not to let that happen. You're welcome. A lot of traders, there are two reasons why I do these free sessions. The first reason, and let's be honest, the first reason is to give people, new people, more access to see what we do. And if they want to join our group, they will join, which is good for me, right? In terms of people who are trading, right? And the second reason, and I will put this second, but for me, this is the most important one. This is personal. I know that there's thousands of traders out there who cannot afford the course. I'm well aware of that. And that is why we do two things to help you. One is we created the installment trading program, which allows you to pay very small, get into the group, get these 2 live sessions free daily, and make your decisions, make your trading better. Now, a lot of traders use that, and a lot of them have moved from that into the group. Right? And their traders still using it, and they're paying more than 100. Some traders paid like 300, 700 a month. I assume they have a bigger account and they made more money. That's my assumption. And they can afford to pay because they want to get into the group faster, which gives you access lifetime to everything for free. And access not only to my recording and not only to my analysis, but to the analysis of all the traders in my group who are really successful. So you get to get much more, right? So that's why we do it. Those are the 2 main reasons we do this. One, it's an ad, and second, it's to help you guys. And I'm hoping that you can help spread the news, because you will help somebody. If you go share those videos, if you watch those videos, if you leave comments on the videos, tell people what you think about it. I can tell you who's the first person commenting right now on all those videos. The guy who's pissed off with me. He's probably spending the next couple hours of his life writing comments all over. Sad for him, those comments nobody will see because they're filtered out, right? So, but he'll waste his time. He'll still do that. He's probably trying to make a video about me, tell you how bad I am. Well, congratulations. He has a lot of time to waste, because when I finish here, I'm going to have lunch and have some time with my daughter. And then I'll come back to meet you guys for the New York session. In between, if I think a lot of things are happening, I'll jump in the trading room with my traders. That's what I do. That's how I spend my time. If there are other important things that pop up, like a few calls I have to do, right? A few messages I have to answer to. My son's school teacher will write me back. I sent her a message this morning. I'll have to answer back to her. I'll have to arrange a meeting with her. Those are important things. I have to arrange a visit of to the doctor for my daughter. So I'll be busy doing a few things. I definitely would not be worrying about any one of you personally. Don't get angry with me, but I wouldn't be thinking about you while I'm doing all those stuff. I'll be thinking of my group in general. That if things are happening, I need to jump in and give them a helping hand. And I will do that. If nothing much is happening, they can manage without me. They're all very good independent traders. But me writing something about you on the internet, not going to happen. Not in a million years. I don't have the patience and the time for that. No matter what you say or do about me, I am not going to go and write about you. So don't forgive me for not giving you the attention you need, right? What you get if you pay in the installment, you get access to these 2 live webinars we're doing right now. You also get the recording of the entire thing, this entire list we do here, all the way to the end of the crypto, not the ones at the bottom. Those are special. You get access to that. So what you can do if you trade something else beside that, that recording is done in Asian session and it's sent out to you. So if you can't make the live sessions, you get that recording to work with. If you can make the live sessions, you get to ask questions, you get to learn, because if you notice every live session, there's a learning lesson in it. If it's not a lesson about wave analysis, a lesson about life. I think I'm half century. I can teach you something about life if you're younger than me, right? I have a world of experience. I've had the benefits of knowing what is it not to have a meal to eat, and I have the benefits of knowing what is it to sit with the president and eat. I've been in both of those situations. I've dined with a president. I've dined with many ministers. I've dined with many high people in high power, and I've been at the position at one time where I didn't know what would be my next meal. So I've been up and I've been down. I know what is it to have a lot of money, and I know what is it not to have a single cent in your pocket. So my experience is vast. When you come to me, don't come to me crazy. I've had huge experience in life. I've lived in 3 different countries. Lived, I mean long-term, lived in 3. I've visited many and lived there for months in some other countries. So I'm kind of building my experience a lot, right? I'm in an interracial marriage. Tell me about learning about experience when you're in an interracial marriage. You learn a lot about different things. Right now, my wife is not happy with me because I'm not really supporting the war in Russia. And she, as a Russian, definitely has to support it. That's just a moral thing as a Russian. You may want to support your country regardless of whether you're right or wrong. If your country is at war, it will be kind of not decent to go against your own country sometimes. So she's in a moral dilemma. She don't want her country to lose, but she's not supporting everything that happens there. Whereas me, I'm outright like, that is wrong. You shouldn't invade the country. You would hear me and her get in arguments sometime over that. Well, not heated argument, but disagreement, put it that way. So I'm learning a lot. I'm still learning every day. I lived in Dubai. I lived in some extreme places. I lived in Moscow. I lived in Dubai. I did business in Moscow in the 90s. You want to learn something about human behavior and character? Try being somebody stupid doing business in the 90s in Russia. You'll be dead. Try being dishonest. Try being a dishonest person doing business in the 90s in Russia. You will be dead. There's no question about that. And I mean dishonest to anyone in any form and any shape. You're likely going to be a dead person. For you to understand what it means, if you promise something, do it. If I say, and sometimes if I say to the owners of the mall who would come to me, and they normally come to me out of everybody there, and said we need 50 of this video camera for Christmas, they will share it out as gifts. So they'll come to me and said, can you give us 50? Because I'm one of the few people who could deliver that much so fast. They'll come like a week or two before, and I'm like, no problem, I'll get it for you. I might or might not give them the price at the same time. But if I give them that price, and if I have to go and buy that camera much more expensive so I can deliver it to them, I will do it. And they know I will do it. A few times, I think once I had to buy it more expensive and give them, and the guy said, no, we're going to pay you extra. I said, no, I promise you that price, we'll stick to that price. I got a lot more benefits from them, basically. But just to show you that if you say something, you're going to do it. If I can't, at any time they come to me and they said, well, we'd like this. And I said, no, I don't have that. I wouldn't be able to get it for you. No big deal. You just stick to your words. You don't want to be, and that's like this surface of it, right? It's much deeper than that, but give you an idea of how the surface would work. If you try to smart anybody, outsmart or rob anybody in that time, you will be dead. And I'm still alive, right? So that tells you a lot. And it's not like they couldn't find me in the crowd. It's a white crowd and I'm black. So it's not like I can hide and they're not going to find me, right? I had nowhere to hide. So I'm like, I am seen everywhere I go. People remember me everywhere I go in Russia because most of the times, the place I go, I'm the only black person in that crowd. I've been to a resort once, only to figure out I'm the first black person ever went to that resort. That resort is only Russians normally go there. When I go there, I was like the first black person they've ever seen come to that resort. Really? So yeah. Oh, well, I better be very nice if I want to survive today, right? It's just little things that teach you. You know, you get very good experience and you learn things. I hope he wants to make up. I don't have anything against him. If he wants to come back and say he's sorry about what he did and learn, I'm willing to teach him. I don't keep petty. I'm not petty. I don't keep petty things against people. I hope they learn. I actually give the course free to one of the guys who used to troll me earlier. And then he came into the group. This guy was very young, and I gave him the course for free because he apologized. And then he came into the group and he met somebody in his past who he was having a problem with. And the two of them started to get it out in the group. They literally started insulting each other and doing crazy stuff. And then they came to me and said, hey, this guy is disturbing me. And the other one came and said, this guy's, I'm like, dude, I'm not your father. So here's what the two of you are going to do. The two of you are going to stop the nonsense right now, or I'll throw both of you out of the group. And they continue. And then the one who I actually brought in wrote me a thing and said, you're not helping me. This guy is insulting me. I'm like, they're doing it personally. They're not doing it in the group. They're just sending each other personal things. And I'm like, dude, you guys have to knock it off. You know, I don't have the patience to deal with that. And I think they both delete themselves from the group. I said I will remove you, but I didn't have to. They both delete themselves from the group. That was the last I heard of them, both of them. But that was crazy. Like, why are you coming in here? And to tell you some of the things they were saying, which is funny, one called the other a goat. I'm like, which class you guys are in? Like primary what? You calling each other goat? Like, what is the conversational level? What's the intelligence level of you guys if you're calling each other goat? Like, where are you guys? Like, really, you know, it was really, really sometimes. Those are things you deal with when you have a group, right? One person, when they told me what is happening, I couldn't help laughing. I couldn't laugh there, right? But like, what are two grown people calling each other goat about? Like, come on, whose brain is that level? Even my son, when he does those crazy things, I tell him not to do it. Right? He come and he says some crazy. I say, you can't do that. That's not nice. You don't, grow up. Grow up. You're 7, but grow up. That's not how that's not how you talk. Seriously. That's a real story. That is not a made-up story. So, yeah, if he wants to come back, he can come back and keep learning. I have no problem with that. Don't worry. People say all kinds of things. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Just keep learning, my friend. You might be young. From your message, I assume you're young and you're a little naive in life. So keep learning. Forget about everything and move on. Let's go. What else? What are the trades? So the pong is going up now. If any one of you are in the pong, this is what you're going to do. You're going to move your stop from this level. And if you're like me, put it at break even here. If you're not at break even as yet, put the stop here. Because if this goes up now, it has to go up. If this starts to come back down now, it will be a break-even trade. Because here's what you're going to do. It has to go. It can't come back. If it come back, it's making deeper corrections. If it stops here and start to do this, or if it comes back like this and start to do this, you can move your stop up and track this to close. Or just close the trade. Because if they do that, they will come back here and then go. We will be in a deeper correction. See? That's how you manage the trades. And that is understanding how waves are going to behave. If you go into 5 minutes, you'll see that. See the 5 minutes is showing me that this is an impulse down. If this starts to become a correction, right? It's going to pull back and then go. Now, you don't want that pullback. You want to get out there. Once you understand this, then you understand the depth of wave analysis. The risky sell at CATSUS. I didn't think CATSUS was a sell. Let's see. I have it as a buy. Yeah, it's a risky sell, it goes, but you got lucky if it goes that way, get it to positive already. Right? So get it to positive right now. It's a sell, but we don't know how far it's going to go. So make sure you get that to break even. Because even big drops, they pull back, right? So get it to break even and let's see how it goes. It can go lower, but like I said, once it's under this low, it's pretty risky. Good job. Get it to break even now. That's the number one thing you got to do. Because if this pulls back against you, there's no telling where it will take you out, right? So, okay, let's go. What else? You can make more flags. This could come back and it could make another flag here, and it could make another flag and drop in another flag and drop in another. So every time you take these trades, they're trades, right? But they're risky, like I said. The risk is there. Hong is going up, so good. Aussie goes up, New Zealand go up. We'll get trades set up for sell this afternoon. Anything else you guys want me to look at? Let's go before I close the room. I think one day for all the crypto traders, if you can get more crypto traders to come, we can make in between the London and the New York, we can do a session only for cryptos. Today's what? Thursday? We can do it tomorrow, Friday. So we can use the same, can we use the same room, Vic? I think we can use the same London room to do it, right? We can reopen the London room again later.
That was you mean the March room or this room?
This one?
Um,
I'm not sure. I think when I close it's over. We can do it live on YouTube.
I don't know. I don't know how you set the timing. If
Yeah,
it
I
was
set the
24
timer for an
hours.
hour. I set it for an
Yeah,
hour. So
then we can't. I think no.
So here's what we can do. We can pick a time now, and on this video, I will know how many people can come based on your comment. So if every one of you go in this video and put yes for the timing, and we can do it, let's see, let's find a time between, this one is closing now at 1:30. The New York is at 4 what time? 4:45. So between 2 and 4, we got 3 o'clock. 3 to 4, that would be 2:30. 2:30 to 3:30. So we can get a break before the day. So 2:30 tomorrow, 2:30 Dubai time, which is exactly an hour from now, right? Whatever your time is an hour from now. So an hour after we close this room, tomorrow, if we can do it, if you guys want it, and you have to show me you want it, go tell all the crypto traders if they want it, let them come and in this video, leave a comment. Leave a comment. You can leave any comment and say, yes, you're okay for tomorrow, right? For the crypto. Leave any comment and then just say, yes, you're okay for the crypto. If we get enough people, we'll do it, right? So now that should, only cryptos, all the cryptos you guys want. Not the yes shouldn't be here. The yes should be the comment. Not just yes, yes for the cryptos, but leave any other comment to like the video, share the video, get it to all the crypto people you know, and let's see how many crypto people turn up. So it's only going to be crypto and all the crypto you want. We can look at everyone, right? So thank you guys. Not here. The yes is not here. The yes has to be in the comment. Again, don't put the yes here. Go put the yes in the comment, right? On this video, when we close this video, when this video is closed and it's out, you can go and comment on it afterwards, right? Not the comments here. So I would see all of you, not in the chat, guys, in the comment, right? Good. So let's go. If we get only 10, it's not going to work. We have to get about 50, 60 to 100. I think there are a lot of crypto traders. So if you can get 100, that would be great. I would see all of you. Take care, trade with care. You know what to do with it. It's the only trade we're in now, which is the Pong. You know what to do with it. It's a break even. You can't lose. I would see all of you in the New York session, right? Take care, trade with care.